Welcome to the Football Forecast, your ultimate guide to the NFL week ahead. Get ready as we dive deep into the biggest matchups, analyze key player performances, and break down the strategies that could make or break your favorite team's chances. Whether you're looking to dominate your fantasy league, make smart picks and bets, or simply stay ahead of the game, we've got you covered with insights and predictions. So buckle up, football fans. It's time to get your game face on for another action-packed week in the NFL. While only one team can hoist the trophy at the end, it all starts with the forecast. It's week 15 in the NFL. Welcome back to the Football Forecast here on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. Make sure you follow us across all social media platforms at TFB Forecast, ETB, Twitter, Instagram, and as long as TikTok exists, if it gets banned by the U.S., we're still on there. So
we can still, even if it does get banned, you can still use it. You just need like a VPN code.
Yeah, that's true.
Good
I'll
point.
ask Dan because he knows a thing or two about that. But anyway, if you want to follow us across the network as well, at ETB Network, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, youtube.com/ETB Network. Please like and subscribe. It helps everybody here at the network to grow our subscriber base. So please hit that button below. It usually lights up in a rainbow color. I kind of saw that on all the videos now. When you actually say the phrase subscribe, it actually lights up. So I'm saying that now so that it lights up. If you can't watch us on the video side, make sure you listen to the Football Forecast wherever you get your podcasts. You know the drill by now. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Acast, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you do that as well. And the Football Forecast is presented by Playback. Watching sports is more fun with others, but we spend too much of our time watching alone. Playback is a virtual space where communities can stream live sports together with everyone perfectly synced up. Creators get up on stage, deliver their own play-by-play analysis and commentary, and invite viewers up for Q&A. Playback makes watching sports fully interactive and a social experience, from playing fantasy sports, repping your favorite players and teams, and watching with the commentators and communities you care about. Win or lose, sports are best enjoyed together. Join our community by going to playback.tv/ETB Network to find out more, including our live stream schedule. NBA, NBA, NBA. That's what I will say. That's where we are heading. So make sure you join us on our playback.tv/ETB Network room to find out more. My favorite NBA Emirates Cup is on there.
Everybody's favorite.
I love
how you say my favorite NBA Emirates Cup. Like there's a bunch of other NBA Emirates Cups.
No, I'm just saying that to be facetious because I know everyone knows how much I love it.
I haven't met a single person who likes it.
I'm totally kidding. Anyway.
Seriously.
But let's get into it.
The NBA thinks it's going to fix competitiveness.
Isn't it really weird that there's a country that's named after the cup?
Well, isn't Emirates a
United Arab Emirates?
Arab Emirates.
No, but I thought
it's an airline.
It's an airline.
Yeah, and the airline. Isn't it crazy already?
Yeah, well, we can save the NBA talk for another time.
Don't worry, Nick D. I said it's only a matter of time before the actual finals do take place in the United Arab Emirates.
They totally didn't get the matchup they wanted, by the way. They were expecting Knicks Warriors, and they got Hawks Rockets. I'm sure they were all excited about that.
It's not a ratings juggernaut at all.
Exactly my point. Anyway, we are here to talk football, not basketball. Let's get into it.
Playback.
Yes, but let's get into it for Week 15. But I'd be remiss if I didn't briefly mention the news that came down before we started this episode that Bill Belichick is the head coach of North Carolina, and everyone was shocked, including myself. There was the connection with his father apparently being an assistant coach at North Carolina.
Nobody knew that. Nobody knew that, too.
I actually knew that.
I knew that.
I knew that, too.
But
okay, so I'm just the dumb one here.
No, I mean, but it was over 50 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that had anything to do with why he went there.
Well, I think he just wanted a comfy place to land, and North Carolina just gave him the spot. Well, it also helped. It was a 5-year, $30 million deal on top of it. Wait,
Well,
actually, the year 4 and 5 are not guaranteed. So technically, it's a 3-year deal, but they will look into the 4.
I think the 2 years are for his son Steve Belichick to take over because that was part of the deal.
You're probably right.
But it is what it is. And also, there's that weird clause in his contract that by June 1st or July 1st? Zan, you saw it, right?
June 1st. So by June 1st, his contract will go from a $10 million buyout to a $1 million buyout. So he could leave North Carolina, still make a guaranteed amount of money, not even coach a game, and be back in the NFL by early July if he really wanted to.
That's interesting. I just wanted to bring that up because I just thought that was interesting. Well, he can go visit his girlfriend now on the campus if he really wants to now.
I wasn't gonna. I was gonna wonder who was gonna say it. So.
The amount of jokes that I've seen on social media about that, and by the way, they never get old either.
They don't get old.
And this is crazy. Even what's even funnier about it is his girlfriend is nearly and literally at the same time my age, which is even weirder. So
you said 25.
People are like clowning on Bill Belichick for this, but I mean, I think it's a lot weirder that like a 24 or 25-year-old girl is
dating a 72-year-old.
A 72-year-old. That to me is a lot weirder.
I mean, we're talking about 5 decades almost. I mean, like,
well, he was 47 or 48 when she was born. She's
yes.
He's almost too old to be her father.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. But now let's get into week 15. I'll go over the records very briefly since we talked about the Belichick story. Not a good week for most of us.
Yep.
Let's see. I went 5-5-3. Tom went 3-3-7. Zan went 5-4-4. Grant went 4-5-4. Nick D 4-4-5. Ben Cruz 4-4-5. Anthony 4-5-4. Pat 3-7-3. And Johnny Montalbano basically putting up a single victory the whole week, going 1-5-7.
If it wasn't for the Cowboys' defense, he would have gone winless.
If Johnny was an NFL team, who would he be? Would he be like the Titans?
He would be the 2016 Cleveland Browns.
He'd be the Giants.
Yes,
the Giants.
Browns. 2016 Browns for sure.
2016 Browns.
But
he's like the Jim Cramer of this show.
Hey, what's wrong with Jim Cramer?
He gets all his predictions wrong.
That's a good point. Actually, you could say he's the Colin Cowherd of that as well.
I think that Jim Cramer is a much better comparison.
But all right, quickly I'll go through.
At the very least, for me, even though my record looks subpar on paper, I did hit my lock, so I was happy. I was happy about that.
By the way, screw you, Dolphins. That's all I have to say.
Oh, you win almost every time that you bet against the Jets anyway.
No, but I'm saying screw you, Dolphins, for not covering against the Jets and going to overtime.
Terrible. That's terrible. I agree.
All right, quickly, total points. I have 270. Zan has 262. Grant has 257. Tom has 256. Anthony has 253. Nick D has 250. Pat has 246. Ben has 241. So it's close. It is very close, neck and neck, as we come down to the final weeks of the regular season. Now it's time to look at week 15 of the regular season. Most of us got off to a good start, except for Grant picking the 49ers on Thursday Night Football. That was a tough game to watch.
I thought that since they got most of their defense back, I was,
all I can say is I don't think anyone expected that game was going to end 12-6.
And no touchdowns.
That is a good, no
seriously. Touchdowns. Yeah.
Someone won
terrible.
Someone
maybe
won.
if Debo had caught that ball had actually caught that really easy pass.
Did you see Debo after the game was saying, I don't get the rock enough?
Yeah, well, wasn't he saying that? He tweeted that.
And then after the game, they're like, "Oh, you didn't catch any footballs during the game."
What is it with wide receivers being such divas?
Justin Jefferson.
That's how they all are.
I don't know.
Well,
Ask
not all of them,
ask
just-
It
Odell.
all started with Antonio Brown.
No,
Yeah,
it
that's
started
true.
no.
It started way before Antonio Brown.
It started way before Antonio Brown. It started as early as Terrell Owens, probably.
No,
Well,
I would say it started about as early as Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah,
Probably
really.
started-
Keyshawn was
fair.
the biggest prima donna ever.
That's fair, but I think Antonio Brown took things to let's say
Well,
another
Antonio
level.
Brown decided to run off the Meadowlands with shirtless into the locker room, which
really did.
I'll never live that one down as a Jet fan.
Well, prior to the game, the Bucks and Jets played this. I mean, the Bucks and played at MetLife Stadium this year. That was the last memorable image of the Bucks ever playing at MetLife.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. First game on the docket.
Dolphins and the Texans.
All right, you go. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Dolphins and the Texans. Texans are the home team, -3, and we do have a playoff scenario here. So if Houston wins this matchup and the Colts lose their matchup in the 4:00 window against the Denver Broncos, then the AFC South chase is over and Houston will clinch the division. So that's the first playoff scenario today. We have a few to go through today. Nick Morganson, you know what? You can start things off.
This is actually a much more interesting game than I really thought it was going to be this time of the year. The Dolphins are playing great up until this past week when they decided to take the Jets to overtime, and that kind of scared me a little bit. This is such a weird game. I like it, but it's a weird game. Because it's the Texans, that's the only reason why I'm taking them. So I'll take the Texans to cover, but I don't like it.
All right, Zan.
Yeah, I like Houston. They're at home. Miami, to me, is just too inconsistent. This is one of those games where I just feel like the game is going to come down to a mistake, and I just think Tua is due for a late turnover, and I think CJ Stroud does just enough to manage the game. It's going to be one of these games where you're not going to remember what happened leading up to the finish, but I think the finish is going to be epic, and I think Houston wins this one 27-20. So I like Houston to cover the spread and win at home. Give me the Texans.
Yeah, like Nick Morrison mentioned, up to a certain point, the Dolphins had really started to turn things around, and the Texans have been pretty banged up of late, but I still believe in CJ Stroud. I still believe within this Texans offense, and when they've got a division championship on the line, I think they're going to want to come out guns blazing. So just because they're the home team and they've got something, the Dolphins have something to play for too, considering that if they lose this game, that's going to hurt their chances at getting a wild card spot. But I'm going to go with Houston. I'm going to take the money on Houston as well. Grant.
Yeah, Tua's been playing great lately, but I think all the points that you guys have been making is a very, very good reason to think why the Texans can win. And honestly, it's kind of surprising that they've performed so well. They started out the season, pretty well, but then they lose Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins around the same time. So they lost a couple games, but I like the Texans to win and cover here.
Anthony.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Texans to win and cover as well. I do like the Dolphins offensively. They've been pretty great ever since, obviously, Tua came back. And we know every time Tua is healthy, this offense is pretty much impossible to stop with those receivers and those running backs. But what's really hurt the Dolphins, we all know it, is their defense. They allowed Aaron Rodgers and the Jets to play consistent football through all 4 quarters for the first time all season. So I don't trust the Dolphins defense. I know the Texans have had their struggles. CJ Stroud's been sacked a lot. So I don't trust their O-line, but I don't think the Dolphins have the defense to exploit that. I expect a big game by Joe Mixon as well. So I think the Dolphins offense will play good, but I think their defense will let them down. So give me the Texans to win and cover.
If I'm not mistaken, by the way, didn't Aaron Rodgers have over 400 yards in this game?
No, he had 339 yards, I think.
Oh, maybe I'm giving him too much credit.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
think
still,
you are.
okay. That's still pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That's still
For
pretty
a 40-year-old, yes, that's very good.
Nick DiMartino, finish us off
good.
here.
Okay, so I think at least two of you have said. I think it was at least two of you that we're talking about how bad the Dolphins have been because the Jets were able to the Jets took them to overtime. Are you guys not forgetting that the Jets actually beat the Texans? Like, are you guys not forgetting that part of it?
I
But they
think
were
that was
injured.
I'd rather be taken to overtime than lose.
But wait a minute. They were
I
injured.
think that was just a one-game fluke.
Yeah, I mean the Texans are okay. Maybe that you could have said the same thing about the Dolphins.
I mean, they
maybe.
didn't have Mixon. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
that's a huge part of their offense.
But still, they did end up beating them. The Jets ended up beating them. The thing is that I don't think Houston is that good. They haven't looked good lately. C.J. Stroud has not been good lately. C.J. Stroud in the past 5 games has been fairly comparable to Bryce Young. Ever since Bryce Young got so much better and C.J. Stroud's gotten so much worse, their numbers have been fairly comparable. He's only in his last 5 games. C.J. Stroud has 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So Houston has not looked good lately. And I think the Dolphins really, and people are talking about, and you're talking about the Jets keeping it close. The Jets kept it close against everybody. I mean, the Jets kept it close against, almost beat the Bills. I mean, a few things go a little different. The Jets could have beaten the Bills, and the Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL. So I don't really think. I mean,
And
Jets,
to add to that too, the Jets almost beat Seattle a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah,
the
but they were
Jets
absolutely
play up to their competition is the point. I mean, they never end up winning, but they do play up to their competition. They're like the opposite of the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs play down to their competition. The Jets play up to their competition. I don't think it's telling me that much that the Jets almost came close to beating the Dolphins, especially when Aaron Rodgers played a great game, the best game of the season probably.
It'll be his only best game of this season.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, what is the Dolphins' kryptonite? Cold weather. They're not playing up north. They're playing in Houston. So, and they play in a dome, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
So they're playing in a dome.
They're climate
And
controlled.
so they don't have to worry about cold weather or anything like that, like they did in Lambeau Field. And Houston just hasn't looked good. I think the Dolphins win and cover, and I also think the Dolphins will get that last spot in the playoffs
Wow.
in the AFC.
Okay.
Even though I don't think they'll win, I do think they'll manage to perform well over the last 3 weeks of the season.
I don't know what you guys see in Houston. And lately, Stroud, he's been having a bit of a sophomore slump. I mean, they barely beat the Jaguars. They lost to the Titans. They did kill the Cowboys, who are one of the worst teams in the league. And they did almost beat the Lions. So that was one bright spot. And then before that, they lost to the Jets. They haven't looked good. They haven't looked good in most of these games.
I mean, the one thing I will give you is I've been sitting him for Sam Darnold the past couple of weeks just because Sam Darnold's been the better fantasy quarterback as of late. But I think that's just an anomaly.
I don't think Sam Darnold's been the better fantasy quarterback. He's just been one of the better quarterbacks of this league, point blank.
True.
Because Minnesota is not haunted.
Well, I'll save that for when we talk about your team. But right now, we're going to enter the fast track right away, boys.
Sounds good.
Fast track so many of these games.
The 1 o'clock
A
window
lot of toilet
sucks.
bowls.
The 1 o'clock window sucks.
It's pretty bad.
Let's be honest.
Speaking of Brown,
we'll start with the Chiefs and the Browns. The Browns are going to be giving up 4 points to the Kansas City Chiefs in Cleveland. Zan, we'll start with you. It's only 4 points, but obviously the Chiefs just do not cover against the spread. Does the streak finally end?
Yeah, I do think the streak dies this week, but I do think that for most of the game until midway through the fourth quarter, Cleveland is going to give Kansas City a scare. And I think if Chase Brown stays 100%, I actually think he could have a pretty solid day running the football, assuming he doesn't get fined for what he did in the Monday night game. But I do think the Kansas City does enough to win, and I do think that if Kansas City is unable to cover against Cleveland, there's a good chance that they might not be able to cover against So give me the Chiefs to cover the 4 points and win on the road at Cleveland on Sunday.
Zan, before we go into whoever's talking next, I'm sorry, but I think you mean Nick Chubb because Chase Brown's on the Bengals, not the Browns.
You are correct. You are 100% right.
And by the way, and Zan, obviously you're talking about, how the Chiefs are going to give the scare that they're not going to, it's going to be too close for comfort up until the end. And that's exactly why I'm going to take the Chiefs to win, but not to cover the spread.
I knew it.
I can't do it. The Chiefs' MO this season. I mentioned it last week. Deus Ex Machina. They just always find a way. And it happened again last week.
Wait a minute. Ask Nick D if he knows what that means.
Nick D,
always find a way?
No, not that.
Deus Ex Machina.
What? Is that like Japanese or something?
I believe it's an old Latin expression that basically means.
You think I speak Latin? You're just like saying something in Latin and you expect me to understand it. I'm talking about football. How many NFL fans do you think speak Latin?
I'm an old literature nerd, but basically what I'm referring to.
I mean, you are an English teacher.
You're an English teacher doesn't mean the rest of us are.
Okay, let me spell out for you. It seems like they get into a situation that it seems impossible for them to get out of, and they manage.
You could have just said that.
Well, what I was going to say before Nick Morganson interrupted me to explain that to Nick D was it even happened again last week with a freaking doink, and they still go through.
They're the most main character team we've ever seen.
Exactly my point. So, you know what? Since Jameis is quarterbacking, here's what's going to happen. It's going to, he's going to have another solid game where he's going to throw for so many passing yards. And then, of course, in the fourth quarter, he's going to give up a pick six. And that's how this game is going to end. Or you never know. Maybe this game actually goes to overtime and he throws an interception and the Chiefs just take a field goal to win. That's how it's going to end.
Yep.
So just to clarify, is that phrase what inspired the song 3-6 Mafia or no?
3-6 Mafia is a rap group, not a song.
No, that's what I mean. Did that phrase inspire it or no?
Mafia?
There's another group called Swedish House Mafia.
What's with all these music groups having mafia in the title?
Wait a minute. Did we just go pop culture reference right there?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, it's time to shift away. Grant, please save us.
So, okay, first off, let me say this. The Chiefs should not be 12-1, right?
12-1, I think.
I mean, they're not playing up to that type of record.
No way.
However, the Browns haven't gone back to their 2016 type of record, but they have definitely downgraded in performance, with their record being 3-1 or 3-11, one or the other. But with how terrible they are, as much as people are going to advise me not to do this, I am going to take the Chiefs to win and cover.
Oh,
Anthony.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be wrong and be stupid about this one, but like I said last week, until they prove me wrong, I can't pick the Chiefs to cover. So I'm going to keep doing it until they prove me wrong. So I'm going to go Chiefs, no cover in this one.
All right, Nick D.
Yes, I totally agree. I think that this is the most I think this is like the most predictable outcome. So I think in the last 5 or 6 games, the Chiefs haven't covered.
It's been a lot. I think it's a lot more than that.
How many games in a row has it been? It's been at least 5 in a row because they didn't cover against the Chargers, the Raiders,
more than that.
The Panthers, the Bills, the Broncos, or the Bucks.
It's been at least 7 or 8.
At least
6 in a row. Probably the Raiders too. That's 7, and then
the Raiders they didn't cover either. Yeah.
By the way, did you see the stat?
The first time they played the Raiders.
Did you guys see the stat that was going around 7 straight times where they lost against the spread, and no Super Bowl champion has ever done that.
Okay, exactly. 7 straight times. So I think this is the most predictable outcome, which is that they're going to win but not cover. And I do think it's going to come down to some really either an interception or some really dumb Jameis Winston play that's going to do it. And also, it's just like, don't forget, the Browns are a fairly dangerous team at home. They won 2 of their last 3 games at home. I mean, ever since Jameis Winston took over, in the 2 of their last 3 games, they beat the Browns. They beat the Ravens and the Steelers in 2 of their last 3 games. So I don't think this game is as easy as you might think it is.
No, it's not.
So
No, it's
yes,
not.
Chiefs no cover. That is just so predictable.
So you're saying Chiefs by Deus Ex Machina. There we go.
Yeah,
All right.
Chiefs. No, I don't think the Chiefs are going to find a way to win. I think the Browns are going to find a way to lose.
100%.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
That would be typical Cleveland. Nick Morrison.
Can I steal? I said this last week about the Chiefs game. I stole the Nick D line when he wasn't here last week.
What?
I basically said that this spread is begging you to take the Chiefs to cover.
Yeah, it is.
Like, quite literally, they're saying, please, Vegas is saying, please pick the Chiefs to cover. I'm begging you. They're finally going to win. They might win, but it's going to be ugly, like every outcome is for the Chiefs. So, Chiefs no cover until they prove it otherwise.
All right. I'm going to go over to Grant to start this one. The Washington Commanders, coming off of their bye, travel down to New Orleans to take on the Saints, who unfortunately will not be led by Derek Carr, who was injured last week, fracturing his non-throwing hand. His season is officially over.
Yeah, there's kind of 2 storylines to this game.
The quarterback. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I got the quarterback's name right. It is not going to be Spencer Rattler starting. It is going to be Jake Hayner.
Yeah, so
Of course it is.
So there's 2 storylines for this game for me. It's the 3rd string quarterback starting for some odd reason, and Marshawn Lattimore is going to make his Commanders debut against his
That's true.
former team. So, okay, with a 3rd string quarterback and an interim head coach, there's no way that the Saints win this. So I maybe am doing this a little early, but I'm going to make this my lock of the week.
Oh!
Nice. All right. Anthony.
I like what Darren Rizzi has done. I don't know if he's going to be able to be the head coach next season for this team, but he definitely should get consideration. I like the attitude that he gives this team. This team seems to play very hard for him. He kind of reminds me of a sort of Dan Campbell, just the way his attitude is and the way the players want to, go out there and play for him. So I really like that. They've been playing really competitive. They won a decent amount of their last few games since he has become the new interim head coach. But, the Commanders, I think, are due for a nice win. I know it's a lot of points on the road. I think Jaden Daniels will have a big game. Now that the Saints are down to their 3rd string quarterback, it's just not overall a good roster. So I know the point spread's high, but give me the Commanders to win and cover.
Nick D.
Commanders win and cover. The Saints on their 3rd stringer, one of the worst teams in the league.
Fair enough. Nick Morrison.
Yeah, short and sweet. Commanders cover. Saints are trash. That's basically it.
Zan.
Well, I'm going to go bold and be like Grant, and I'm actually making the Commanders my lock of the week as well.
Oh!
Right.
A few things on this. Number one, this is a game that the Commanders can't look past as they still want to stay in the thick of the NFC East race. That's number one. Number 2, Grant, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but unfortunately, since we're Bears fans, I have to bring it up. A Commanders win eliminates us from playoff contention. Unfortunately, I know we weren't going to make the playoffs anyway, but if the Commanders win on Sunday, that seals it. So the numbers, but it makes me feel even more comfortable in picking them in number 3. How can you trust a 3rd string quarterback at the NFL level with an interim head coach? Recipe for disaster. Give me the Commanders to win and cover, and I'll make it my lock of the week. Super simple.
Okay, I'll keep it super simple too. This guy is going to be the starting quarterback. I hope this is not the way that he throws the football. Let's see. A Saints team that was already trash is now starting that third string QB. And ended up going to overtime with nearly went to overtime with the freaking New York Giants. It came down to the mere seconds left in the game.
In probably the worst game I've seen all season.
Correct. Versus a Washington team who, bear in mind, had injuries, but just had a much-needed bye week, is now going to come in fresher. They want to stay in the thick of things, like Zan said, in the wild card hunt. This is an easy one. And granted, Zan damn stole my thunder. This is also going to be my lock of the week.
Wow.
Yep, had to keep it with that one. I mean, it seems kind of. I cannot believe they're starting a third string, and Vegas only has this game at 7.5. I don't get it.
Because
why is it? I mean, why isn't Spencer? I mean, I'm not saying Spencer Rattler would make this any of an easier game or make any closer of a game, but why isn't Spencer Rattler starting?
I don't know. And B, I have a theory about why Vegas hasn't made this line higher, and it's simply because if they make the line higher and you bet the Commanders to cover, your return on investment is gonna suck. So that's my theory.
Well, no, I think it might be because this new quarterback they don't have film on, and the Commanders aren't great defensively.
That's a good point.
That could be why. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I bet this line is going to shift. I bet it's going to go.
So do I.
Yeah, I think so too. Before Sunday, going to Anthony for this next one. It's the Bengals on the road in Tennessee taking on the Titans, and the Bengals are a 5-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm glad you're letting me start with this one because I think the Bengals are not only going to win and cover, they're going to be my lock of the week.
Oh, wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, Nick Morganson doesn't expect anybody to pick the Bengals as a lock.
I know the Bengals have had their struggles, but I mean, so have the Tennessee Titans. I know the Titans can play good defensively here and there, but I think they'll have a couple turnovers against a very bad Bengals defense. But even the Titans turn the ball over against every opponent they play up against, and the way Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is playing, I think they could cover this easily. So give me the Bengals as my lock of the week.
All right, Nick D.
I totally agree. I'm taking the Bengals, and they're going to be my lock of the week.
Oh.
The thing is, I think that Joe Burrow has been phenomenal this year. He really has been. The rest of his team, especially his defense, really has been who has really let them down. And they tend to get into a lot of shootouts, and they tend to put up a lot of points. I don't think the Titans are going to be able to keep up. But even if they do make it a shootout, I don't think 5 points is that much in that scenario. So even if the Titans end up playing really, really well in this game, I have a feeling that offensively, I still think the Bengals are easily going to cover. And the Titans are might be the worst team in the NFL right now, besides the Giants.
Nick Morganson, I'm very interested to hear this one.
Oh, Titans, 100%.
Of course.
I'm taking the Titans. And the reason I'm taking the Titans is because emotionally, the Bengals are a mess. Also, I think karma is not on their side as Joe Burrow's house was invaded during Monday Night Football.
Why is it karma? What did the Bengals do?
No, I'm saying it's bad karma. Bad karma.
Not bad karma, bad juju.
Bad juju, whatever. Whatever
maybe
it is.
It was just a criminal who broke into his house, and it's none of those things.
I just think it's bad luck. Let's put it that way.
That somebody broke into
God.
I just think it's bad luck.
House that's never happened before.
The Bengals just find ways to stupidly lose games that they shouldn't lose either.
I love how you're connecting Joe Burrow's house getting broken into to
No.
Bengals just find out stupid ways to lose.
No. I'm saying Bengals find stupid ways to lose games. They should have lost against the Cowboys if it wasn't for a stupid punt reaction. What did you call it, Tom, that it was based off of?
Deus Ex Machina?
No. The punt.
Oh, no, it's the Leon Lett. They pulled the Leon Lett.
They stupidly broke down on the punt.
Yeah, it was insane. And then it turned into a touchdown a couple plays later.
So the Bengals should have lost to the Cowboys. I'm putting that out there. They should have lost. They're down on their luck. Joe Burrow is emotionally spent. Titans are going to go in and win.
Okay, Zan.
They're technically not. They're technically not going in because they're the
Well,
they're the home team.
You know
but
what I mean? Yeah.
I understand. I understand what you mean.
So, Zan, I want you to pick.
Sure. So I like the Bengals here. This is relatively easy for me. The reason why I stirred away from this game as a lock is just because I never know when this Titans team is going to wake up. They thankfully didn't wake up last week for me, which was a good thing because I was one of the few people to pick the Jaguars. So I was happy. I was happy about that. But this is the game that Cincinnati should win. Their playoff lives are hanging on by a thread where there's a chance that they're going to need to win out to even have any sort of chance to even potentially make a wild card berth. So give me the Bengals to win and cover on the road, and hopefully Joe Burrow can take his mind off of all this stuff that's going on. I'm going to go with the opposite opinion, and it's going to fuel him to win this game and hopefully focus on more important things, not just in his professional life, but also in his personal life. So give me the Bengals to win this game against Tennessee and cover the spread.
Yeah, Tennessee. I know the Bengals defense is rough, but Tennessee is just an awful, awful football team. Joe Burrow, if it wasn't for the fact that the Bengals were struggling, would be an MVP candidate. I think they, in spite of the fact that the Cowboys game was so close, I think I'm going to put a lot more trust in the Bengals offense than I am in the offense that's led by Mayo Boy. So give me the Bengals to win and cover.
Wow. Am I really lone wolfing this one?
You are, and just to give you a little nugget, Johnny actually likes the Bengals to not only win cover, but it's his lock of the week somehow too.
Oh wow!
It's a bold one.
Now I feel really bad about my pick.
Nick Morganson, you're not just a lone wolf. You're on an island.
I can't wait to prove everybody wrong next
Island,
week.
so that makes sense.
I can't wait to prove everybody wrong next week.
Grant.
Hence why you're leading the competition right now. So
True.
No, yeah, I mean, this isn't really about. Well, I actually can't say that. Never mind. It's. I mean, the Titans are, terrible, and so are the Bengals aren't terrible, but they aren't playing up to their potential. I'll say that. But the Bengals will win and cover this. Texans are terrible. Titans are terrible.
All right. Well, it's time for a little fun. It's time for 3 straight games of videos.
I'm ready whenever you are.
All right. Start with the first one.
All right. So what were we? Ravens Giants? Okay.
We are going to do Ravens Giants next. So.
And I have a story to tell after this too.
Of course you do.
All right. Here we go.
Prior to the snap.
Oh, yeah, what the hell are you guys doing? Don't you know there's a tank we have to maintain? Well, sorry.
The kick, no good!
Yeah, that's probably what happened, actually. the blockers probably received a phone call within their helmets, like, guys, let them block this because we gotta maintain this tank. We gotta try for this one.
Wow.
Wow.
That was good though.
That is clever. That's one of the most clever videos you put together this entire record.
You know what? We're gonna have to put a montage together at the end of the year of Tom videos, just to show what we've done.
Of course you do. Well, do you want to see what Vegas has done before you tell your story? Because boys, we have a new record.
This is a personal record.
This is a new record for the longest spread we're going to be dealing with. It's the Ravens at MetLife taking on the Giants, a 16.5 point favorite on the road.
I mean, wow. That's really the one word I can say about it.
Tell your story before we make the pick.
Well, so just to go back, obviously, because the Giants played the Saints last week. Did anyone see the story that there was a OnlyFans model in the stands?
I did.
Yeah.
And her name is Anna Louise.
Yep.
She is the most popular OnlyFans model, porn star, really, whatever you want to call it.
Famously known for being on Dr. Phil too.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Her and that other ridiculous girl who became the TikTok sensation. I can't remember her name. But by the way, she makes like $47 million a year on OnlyFans. She makes more than some athletes do.
Yes,
Anyway,
Stephen A. Smith was talking about it.
and that goes to show you that pop culture makes its way to the sports world. Anyway, so at the time, an anonymous Giants player got her 2 tickets to go to the game to, quote, distract the Saints players at the game. And we didn't know who it was. And then we find out that the initials are TD. And no, it's not touchdown.
Well,
Or
the
TD
Giants can
Bank.
barely get any.
It's not TD Bank. It's Tommy DeVito who got her the tickets.
Wait, do we know for a fact that it was Tommy DeVito?
Yes, she said it herself.
Oh, okay.
So Tommy DeVito was the one who got her the tickets. And now it's become a whole joke because the Saints won the game and the distraction didn't work.
But also, if it's distracting the Saints, if she's distracting the Saints players, wouldn't she also be distracting the Giants players?
You would think so.
You would
Like
think
how?
so.
Like you can't really specifically distract one team. That would be impossible to do.
You can't. You're right.
By the way, these were really good seats. They were like all the way down, like by the field.
But like in football, that would never work. In basketball, you could get somebody courtside seats to like heckle certain players, but that would never work in the NFL.
100%.
But it was just funny though because it didn't work. I did find her email. That's part of the story. I did email her to try to see if we can get her to do an interview with this podcast or somewhere else.
You want to use her to distract the other networks.
Yes, including one that I hate really bad, that Nick and I hate with a passion.
All right. Speaking of Mr. Tommy Cutlets, he's now the starter once again.
After that nonsense.
Look, obviously the Ravens are going to win. The only reason I'm going to go Ravens no cover is because of the largeness of this spread. Do I consider it impossible that this game can't be that bad of a blowout? Absolutely not. It's very possible considering the way the Giants are. You know me with big spreads like this.
Yeah.
I'm just not with that.
Well, I think you got that more from me than anything.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't the biggest on sports gambling until I met you.
That's true.
You're like blaming him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Basically.
okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Grant.
Well, I was kind of actually hoping that you'd go away from me because I wanted to see other people's choice to do with the Ravens, whether they think the Ravens would cover. But since you came to me, I'll just say that the Ravens will win this. But they I could see it going both ways because the Giants are, in the toilet. Seriously, you need to find.
Wait, did someone say toilet?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. That noise literally just perfectly embodies the Giants right now.
Perfectly embodies.
That's good.
But this spread is too high. I'm gonna take the Ravens to win, but no cover. But it could go either way because the Giants are so bad.
That's true. Anthony.
Man, I want to pick the Ravens so bad. I'm so torn. I really want to pick the Ravens, but that point spread is so high. I'm gonna have to go Ravens no cover, but I think I'm gonna be pissed off this weekend about it.
You literally need 2 touchdowns and a field goal to win. You need 2 touchdowns and a field goal just to cover this. Like that.
Yeah.
That's how insane it is.
Nick D.
Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens to win and cover.
Wow.
I think this is going to be like another 30-7 game with the Bucks, except the Ravens are an even better team than the Bucks.
There just won't be an OnlyFans model involved.
Correct. There wasn't an OnlyFans model involved in that game either. Yeah, I guess that depends on the spread if there's going to be an OnlyFans model.
Okay, so you're taking the cover.
Yeah,
okay.
But yes, long story short, Ravens to win and cover.
Okay. Nick Morgeson.
So I have one way to describe this spread.
Wait, he's gonna fall off the mountain.
Yes. This spread is way too freaking big. Way too freaking big. They're not covering this. I understand the Giants are a shit show or a poop show, as Tom would say. This team is so bad, but the Ravens haven't exactly been playing lights out football either.
Nope.
So they're going to win. That's not my main concern here. The spread is incredibly big. It's the biggest one we've dealt with all year. Ravens no cover.
All right, Zan.
Yeah, I like Ravens no cover as well. Again, I just feel like that number is gigantic, and you never know. I mean, the Giants did keep things close. I understand it was against the Saints. You just never know in the NFL. It's such an unpredictable league. You see upsets all the time. Carolina nearly beat Philadelphia, so that tells you all you need to know. We'll get to the Carolina-Dallas game in a little bit, but I like the Ravens sure to win, but it's not that I don't think they're good enough to cover, because they are. It's just the sense of the number being too high. And obviously, if you're a football team, all you care about is if you win or lose, and not up by how much, because a win is a win no matter what. So give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens no cover. So
Okay. I believe we got through everyone with that one, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. So I guess then it's time to go on to video number 2.
Okay, so that would be
The
the
Cowboys-Panthers game.
I want to make sure I don't give it. Okay, I got it. I'm ready. Here we
How
go.
about them?
How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys?
Well,
You might have to describe that one a little bit, because it was a little cut within
All
a little.
right. Well, let me see if I can go back up to that very first image.
Oh,
Does anyone see the left-hand side? What that looks familiar?
It's the same picture.
It's the Leon Lat. You guys
the
brought him
Leon
up
Lat.
before.
Yes. Okay, I got it.
They just know how to pull the Leon Lat. Anyways, the Cowboys traveling on the road. They're going to play Carolina. And for the first time since December 2022, the Carolina Panthers are a favorite.
I had to do a double take on this spread for like a minute, just to make sure I was seeing it correctly.
Yeah, the Panthers are a -3 favorite at home. Nick DiMartino, lead us off with this one.
I actually really like. We're fast tracking this. That should mean fast track, not slow track.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Panthers -3. Bryce Young's looked a lot better in these past 5 games. He's improved tremendously. He's like 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's not throwing for many yards, but he's looked a lot better. Mm-hmm. And the Cowboys are just like, they're just all banged. They're all banged up. It's all over for them. So if I were to actually take a guess, I think this is actually going to be like a push, and the Panthers are going to win by exactly 3. If I were to take a guess, if I were to really give you my prediction, but if I were to pick one side or the other, I'll take Carolina -3.
Fair enough. Nick Morganson.
This game's ugly. I don't trust the Cowboys anymore. I'm actually going to take the Panthers to cover.
Zan.
I like Dallas. I'm scared about it, but I just feel like it's not as much of a well, it is kind of. It's more of an anti Panthers pick than a pro Cowboys picker. I just think that Carolina isn't very good. I think they're in rebuild mode. I do think Bryce Young is playing well. I don't know. I just feel like for some reason Dallas is going to take their frustrations out on Carolina, knowing that their season is basically hanging on by a thread. But I could be wrong. So give me Dallas to win outright in the quote-unquote upset here. So,
you know what? This is going to be a screw it pick. Just because Nick D's going with it, Nick M's going with it. I actually kind of agree with Nick D. I feel like this will probably end in a 3-point game as a push, and we all lose with that. But screw it. It's been a long time since I've done this, and who knows when I'll get to do it again. Screw it. I'm going to take the Panthers as a favorite. Take the money. Grant.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one of the games that's just terrible. There are a lot of questionable games this week.
There's a lot of questionable games. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, we'll get into more of those later, and I'm sure me and a lot of the other guys will talk about how questionable the other games are. But I'm gonna take the Panthers to win and cover just because Bryce Young has been playing better. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 3-point game.
By the way, would you say this is the degenerate gamblers game?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Check.
personally don't. I personally don't think so because it's a game that we're going to get into at the very, very end of the show that I actually think takes the cake. But
You might be right. You might be right about that.
You know what? They both can be.
Yeah,
Both
you're
can be
right.
Degenerate games.
They both can be right.
Anthony.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Zan, but you might potentially be the lone wolf of the week for this game. I'm gonna go with the Panthers to win as well. I mean, Bryce Young has played really, really well. He's definitely earned himself another season as a starting quarterback. And when you really look at it, there is a slight chance that this team could be on a 5-game winning streak. They were on a 2-game winning streak. They had any defense, they would have beat the Chiefs. If Chuba Hubbard didn't fumble, they would have probably beat the Bucs. They're already in field goal range in overtime. And if Xavier Legette catches that ball, they would have had a good shot to win last week as well. So Bryce Young has put this team in position to win week in and week out the last 5 straight weeks. So give me the Panthers to win and cover as well.
Actually, Anthony, I want to give you a spoiler alert. You're not the lone wolf this week because Johnny's actually taking the Cowboys to win outright along with me.
For the
You're
episode.
the lone wolf of you're the lone wolf of the 6 of us, though. Who are here.
For the episode, he would be, technically.
Right. That's true.
All right. One more video. Nick Morgeson, now it is time for your favorite video.
I'm so looking forward to it. Here we go. Can you read or just say what it says? It was really fast scrolling on the bottom.
I could not. I was literally squinting, trying to read what the thing said.
That's part of the fun of the videos is to pause and actually see the message. But the message said, "So you think the Jets are cursed, Aaron?"
They've always been cursed.
It just Aaron tends to blame anything but himself. So,
I mean, he would blame gravity and the atmosphere before himself.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anyways, getting into it. Jets on the road in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. Another trash game. The Jets a 3.5-point favorite on the road, though. Nick Morgeson, start with you.
Am I really going to pick the Jaguars in this matchup?
Are you really going to pick the Jaguars?
I mean, is Mac Jones starting?
Yes.
I mean, I like the way Mac Jones has been playing. Yeah, I'm not changing now. Jaguars upset.
Nick DiMartino.
I like the Jets to win but not cover.
I feel like that's reasonable.
I think they win by like a field goal.
That's pretty reasonable. Zan.
I am on the same train as Cam, and I'm actually going to take the Jags in an outright upset at home. I think they beat the Jets. The Jets have proven to me week after week after week that they just simply can't win, no matter how hard they try to be on the cusp of winning. They always find a way to remember. Oh yeah, it's the fourth quarter. We have to suck again, and they suck every single time. So
now that they're officially eliminated from the playoffs and are competing for a better draft pick and should be in tank mode, now they're going to win.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. And then they end up with like the 5th, 6th, or 7th pick.
And they've done this against the Jaguars too.
And then they won't get any of the good quarterbacks if there are any good quarterbacks, and then they're going to screw themselves.
Yeah, fair enough. Screw it. I'm going to be on the same train as Nick Morgeson. Usually I'm not for doing this, but screw it. I like the way Mac Jones has been playing too. I'm going to go for Jaguars upset.
That's right.
Grant.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to do this because I despise Aaron Rodgers, but the Jaguars, even though Mac Jones has been playing great, and they're not great, but good enough. I mean, but Rodgers is running a dysfunctional organization. I'm going to take the Jets to. I'll take him to win, but I won't take him to cover. I'll do that. I'm not going to take him outright.
I was gonna say you can't expect that they're actually gonna cover this.
No.
Anthony, do you?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I like watching Aaron Rodgers' press conference more than I like watching the Jets game.
Yes.
The press conferences are pretty fun. He won't take the blame for everything they're talking about. The play after out, and he goes, "Is that a question?" And then he goes, "I've been starter for 1 year." So, I mean, he's right, but he's still a part of that drought one way or another. So, but it's the Jags. I know Mac Jones has played pretty good football. The Jags have been playing pretty competitive, but I'm going to go with the Jets to win and cover.
Wow.
All right. Now, Anthony, we ended with you. We're going to start with you. We're going into the 4:00 window. And oh boy, do we have a game. It's the Bills and the Lions. Two of the best teams in the NFL, arguably the best two teams. A potential Super Bowl preview going on in Detroit, with Detroit a 2.5-point favorite at home.
Yeah, I take great honor to be able to start this game. This has got to be the game of the year. This is going to be an awesome matchup. I think that we definitely seen, though, where the holes are with this Bills team, and I've said it all year. It's their defense. Their run defense isn't really well. They got injuries at cornerbacks, and now they're having troubles in coverage. I know Josh Allen is Superman. He could put this team on his back, and I'm very, upset that before the season began, would you guys believe that Josh Allen was voted the most over player in the NFL? I don't understand where this bashing comes with Josh Allen. It's nice that this year he's starting to get some respect, but even though they lost last week, you got Shannon Sharp on TV finding a way to blame Josh Allen like they always do, even though the guy had 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. But at the end of the day, this Lions offense is just way too good. And when you got 2 great running backs to defend in Gibbs and Montgomery, I don't know how the Bills' undersized defensive line is going to be able to shut that down. And now that they have injuries at cornerback, with Rasul Douglas potentially being out, they're going to have a tough time covering St. Brown. So I think this could be a shootout. Josh Allen is going to be Superman again. He's going to have probably 3 or 4 touchdowns. That's why he's the best player in football right now. But simply, it's not going to be enough to overcompensate that bad Bills defense against the best offense in football. So give me the Lions to win and cover.
Nick T.
You know what? I've been really high on the Lions all year, and I've been struggling with this game a little bit. But the Lions are a bit banged up defensively. The Bills are coming off a bad loss. I actually think the Bills are going to win and cover. I also think the Bills are a very good team too. And I think both these teams are better than the Chiefs is how I would put it. But something tells me that the Lions, they escaped by the skin of their teeth the last couple of games, at home games too. And I think the Bills are going to come back, and I don't think they're going to lose 2 games in a row. I think the Bills end up winning this outright.
Nick Morganson.
This is a good game. I agree with Anthony that this has to be the game of the year. I don't see any other matchup being this high level of a game.
Probably the 2 best teams in the NFL.
I like the quarterback matchup, even though I will say Josh Allen is the better quarterback in this matchup by far. It's not even close. I think he's probably going to be MVP probably this season if everything stays on the trajectory that it stays. But I also agree with Anthony that I think the Lions offense is just too much to handle between running backs. Amon St. Brown has finally come around and is actually playing good football. Finally. I think it's going to be this close. I think it's going to be a field goal to like a 4 or 5 point game. So I think it's the Lions, but I think it's going to come down to the very end. I think they're going to cover with a field goal or a little more. So Lions cover.
Zan.
Yeah, I like Detroit too for the simple fact that, I just feel like going into Ford Field, it's one of those environments where, it's hard to win there, as we've obviously seen. And even though the Bills are really good, I think the crowd noise is going to play a factor. And I think Josh Allen's going to throw an interception late in the 4th quarter, and that's what's going to allow Detroit to cover the spread and win by a field goal. So I'm going to say the final score is going to be 33-30 Detroit. So,
Josh Allen's fault.
What's up?
No, it won't be Josh Allen's
No,
fault.
no.
Won't be.
It's just how the game will end, unfortunately. So I think it is a downright disappointment that this game is not on national TV in neither of the night spots on Sunday or Monday night. I just want to make that clear.
You mean the BS that they put in Monday Night Football's doubleheader?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Seriously. Yeah, I've been struggling with this game too. I just know it's going to be an awesome game, and I want to be in front of my TV watching it. Just seeing, I think this should hopefully be an absolute shootout that is absolutely fun to watch. We make mention that the Lions are a little banged up, and yet, even with all their injuries, they continue to find ways to win. They continue to find ways to perform so well and so stellar. And like Anthony mentions, the Bills have a little bit of a weakness with their defense. And I think the Lions, combined with what Zan said about the Detroit and all the momentum they have being such a tough place to play, I'm going to lean with the Lions to cover the spread here and win this game.
Just a quick note: the combined is over under 54.5.
Thank gosh.
Oh,
Grant, finish.
I love the over in that. It seems like a solid play with two unbelievable quarterbacks. Yeah, I would say so.
Grant, finish us off.
Yeah, I mean, this is the I don't even I mean I'm gonna this is the game of the week, but honestly, this also could be the game of the year. I mean, both these teams are performing at a high level, and honestly, I didn't want Nick Morganson to say it, but I mean, Josh Allen is the MVP because even though the Chiefs are have the same record as the Lions, Patrick Mahomes is not playing up to MVP level. So give me the Lions to win and cover here, though. I think the Lions right now.
All right. Now, let me just check my thing. Okay. Zan, we're going to go over to you for this one. It's the Steelers and the Eagles in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, 5.5-point favorite. And I have something unique, boys. We have double playoff scenario in this one. So, for Pittsburgh, if they win or if both the Dolphins and Colts lose, the Steelers are in the playoffs. If Philadelphia wins and Washington is upset by the Saints, Philadelphia clinches the NFC East. So, potential double playoff scenario with this one. This should be an absolute fun one as well. Zan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to see the battle for Pennsylvania happen this year. It's really unfortunate that this matchup does not happen as often as it does, and it's also good that both of these teams are good. I think the Eagles do enough to win this game simply because I think Jalen Hurts is playing better than Russell Wilson at the moment. But I will say that I'm really liking this Pittsburgh team. I really like that they're kind of being written off, but they're still finding a way to win games, especially lately. I do think the Eagles win this game, but I don't think it's enough to cover. Give me like a field goal game in this one. I think Pittsburgh will have a chance to win at the end, but they'll just come up a little bit short.
All right. I look at this game, and yeah, I mean, the Steelers just have an absolutely tough defense. I think Russell Wilson, despite what you say, he has been performing above everybody's expectations.
Oh, 100%.
He has been, when he was subbed in for Justin Fields, we were like, what the hell is Pittsburgh doing? Fields was doing so good that this would be Mike Tomlin's crashing back to earth as normal for the last few seasons. And yet, he has just continued to deliver. Now, that being said, the Eagles have such a powerhouse offense. They may not always get along, according to reports, but they still have an absolutely powerful offense. And I look at this matchup. I think this is going to be pretty competitive. I think this should be pretty close for the most part. Zane, did you say that they win and cover the Eagles, or?
No, I said the Eagles win, but no cover.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you. I think the Steelers' defense is just going to play so tough. Philadelphia can have its moments of weakness, so I think I'm going to say the Eagles win. I don't think they cover a 5.5-point spread. Grant.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Mike Tomlin. I mean, he is one of the greatest. I mean, head coaches in the NFL right now. I mean, he's never had a right. He's never had a losing season, right?
Correct. He's been
correct.
500 or better.
And how long has he been head coach for the?
About 20 years or so, roughly.
Well, I think it was since 2007.
Yeah,
So
since
yeah,
2007.
yeah. So
So it's his 18th year.
yeah, 18 seasons. Yep.
And I'm just gonna throw up a little fun fact. The coaches before that were all like very long tenured head coaches. So I mean they had oh god what's his name Bill
Bill Cowher.
Bill Cowher.
Bill Coward, thank you. He was there for a while. But I mean the Steelers are playing great, but the Eagles just have a powerhouse of an offense. However, I'm gonna agree with Zan and Tom and say that they win by a field goal. So I'll take the Eagles to win, but no cover.
And just to give you guys another fun fact on this game, almost 95% of the country is going to be able to see it as it is the main Fox late game this week. So I think NFL fans are being treated to a game on Fox, and hopefully it ends up delivering as such.
It's a great game. It's just a shame that the Bills Lions is basically going to be blocked out because of this.
That's true.
I wish they were both. I wish they were both, the double national window with this one. Anyways, Anthony.
Yeah, probably the second best game of the week. I think it's going to be low scoring. I like both these defenses. I've been saying it for weeks, all the good young players that the Eagles have on defense. I know last week, Bryce Young had a good game, but Bryce Young's been playing good. I said that before. So overall, the Eagles do got a good defense, and obviously we know led by TJ Watt, the Steelers got a good defense as well. You got two quarterbacks that tend not to turn the ball over. But obviously, we know that the Eagles' offense are just much superior. The wide receiver positions, they're much better. Saquon Barkley is better than any player on offense the Steelers have. Jalen Hurts is obviously much superior to Russell Wilson. So I know they have, their arguments, like Tom alluded to, with A.J. Brown saying that he wants Jalen Hurts to throw the ball more and whatever's going on between that. But they're just a much superior team on offense. But since the Steelers do have such a good defense, and I do think it's going to be a low-scoring defensive matchup, I'm going to keep the trend going with the Eagles no cover.
Okay. Nick D.
Yeah, this is tough for me because the Steelers have been so good lately. I'm also going to go Eagles no cover. I don't have that much faith in the Eagles. I mean, the last 3 games in a row, Jalen Hurts has thrown under 200 yards, and now there's apparently this rift between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, which I think could be an underrated thing. If there's some type of rift between two players who are playing on the offense that need to have good chemistry, I think that could hurt them a lot. But the Eagles seem to find a way to win these games. I just don't think there's any way they cover the 5.5.
And Nick Morgeson.
All right. So I'm going to do this first.
Okay.
But it's on the reverse side. I'm taking the Steelers. I'm locking the Steelers on the reverse side of the spread. And the reason I'm doing that is this riff has been a nightmare. Everyone is saying, oh, it's okay, it's going to pass. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have been having this riff like most of the season. Jalen Hurts apparently doesn't get along with Sirianni, doesn't get along with A.J. Brown. I don't know if you saw I forgot who the third captain is who made this whole thing public, like on a podcast.
It was Brandon Graham, I think.
Yeah, he made it public. It's a whole, he said he did it on purpose.
What I was going to ask, because of what A.J. Brown is complaining, does some of this, you think, have to do with the fact that now that they have an excellent runner in Saquon Barkley, that they're handing the ball off more?
I think Saquon Barkley is the number one option, to be quite honest.
The way he's playing, yeah.
And also, I don't know if you saw the stat the other day that 10 times Barkley was stopped on the 1-yard line, and all those touchdowns went to Jalen Hurts after he got stopped on the 1-yard line. So just take that for what it means. Also, I think there's some dismay going on in the locker room. It's not good. And we're talking, remember how you guys were coming after me for the way they basically, I don't know what word, trashed in the second half and just completely fell apart. I mean, they're winning games, but I think the Steelers defense is going to take them apart because I don't think the Eagles are on the same page. And I think Russell Wilson's actually not playing bad football either.
No.
So
right.
I think the Steelers are going to win this game outright. That's my
So-
lock of the week.
So we have a lone wolf lock. I don't know if we've had that this season.
So just to clarify, besides Nick M, are we all taking the Eagles no cover?
Yes, everybody except Nick Morrison. And I really, like I said, I don't think we've ever had a lone wolf lock here.
I think I just confused you in the editing of a video too.
I think that clip's going to be played so much. It's one of the locks of the week, and it might be the lone wolf pick of the week. Obviously, there are a few, but of all of them, I think that's the pick of the week. All right, going over to Los Angeles now. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorite at home against the Buccaneers. I'll start this one. I'll keep it simple. Look, I know the Buccaneers are basically trying to control the NFC South, and the Chargers has lost out on the division race because of the Deus Ex Machina from last week with the Chiefs. That being said, they were playing fantastic against the Chiefs. You know, Jim Harbaugh has done a phenomenal job. We mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I say it again. He's done a phenomenal job with this Chargers team and all the pieces that are coming with it. I feel safe picking the Chargers here on a 2.5-point spread at home. Grant.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, the Bucks have been playing pretty. Wait, what's their record? What's the Buccaneers?
They're
record?
about 500, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they are. I'm looking it up really quick. They are 7-6.
7-6, yeah.
So, I mean, I like what I've seen from Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has been playing pretty good for with the Buccaneers. But you know, the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh have just been rolling when they basically didn't improve their roster at all. In fact, actually, their roster probably got a little bit worse, but still, they are an 8-4 team, right? Or is it not? Are they 9-4?
Who? The Chargers?
The Chargers.
They're 8-5.
They're 8-5.
Oh well, they're 8-5. I'm sorry for my mistake, but I mean, Jim Harbaugh has just made he's made a pot of gold from a rainbow or something. I'm trying to think of a good.
I know what you're saying, Grant. That people doubted. I doubted him, considering the fact that they lost all the pieces they did. It looked like it was going to be a rebuild, and yet here they are, 8-5, and in control of a playoff spot, a wild card spot in the conference.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take the Chargers to win and cover here.
Anthony.
Yeah, I would definitely say if you follow college football, you knew that Jim Harbaugh was going to have success with the Los Angeles Chargers. Jim Harbaugh has success everywhere he goes. And I was definitely, decently high on the Chargers. I thought that they would be just outside the playoffs, but it looks like they're going to be even a step further than that and probably get in the playoffs altogether. I know the Chargers are coming off a loss. I think they're going to be pissed off. Defensively, they've been great all season. Offensively, Justin Herbert, for the most part, has kept the ball clean and hasn't turned the ball over. I know Buccaneers have had some injuries as well, and Baker Mayfield has did everything he can to put this team on his back and kind of carry him at times. And I know Bucky Irving has been a bright spot for this team, and now he's dealing with some injuries as well. So I'm going to go with the Chargers to win and cover, but it's definitely going to be very close.
Nick T.
Chargers. I really like it. The Bucks are a bit up and down. Chargers are the home team. They're having a really great year. I'm very comfortable with the Chargers covering 2.5 points.
Nick Morrison.
Yeah, I'm on that same field. The only thing that would scare me is Bucky Irving, who's had a really good year running back. Otherwise, nothing really scares me on the Bucks side. Chargers cover easily.
Zan.
I actually like Tampa Bay in this game outright. And I think where you guys are kind of forgetting a few things is Tampa Bay's been in a nice little streak ever since losing to San Francisco by 3 a couple weeks ago. I understand it's against bad teams, but these are teams Tampa Bay should be beating: the Giants, the Panthers, and the Raiders. And I think Tampa Bay has a nice close to the end of the year where you could see Tampa Bay win out the rest of the way. And and get themselves a nice cushion and potentially in the NFC South Championship. So I really like the way Tampa Bay's been playing. I love the way Baker Mayfield's been throwing the football, and this is just one of those teams that's quietly playing good football, and I think the momentum is going to carry over. So give me Tampa Bay in the outright upset to beat the Chargers in Los Angeles.
Wow. All right. Now we've got two, what are they called? Oh, two fast tracks. Let's make these actual fast tracks.
Quickly.
Grant, 4.5 points. The Broncos are a favorite against the Colts at home in Denver.
I like Denver. It's the.
I said Grant, not
Grant.
Stan.
Grant.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
gonna say, I thought I heard Grant.
Yeah, but I like the Broncos here. Shane Steichen and the Colts. They've had. I mean, I don't want to say they have a quarterback issue because they don't. Anthony Richardson is definitely the better quarterback, but when you go from starting with Anthony Richardson at the beginning of the season, then going into the couple weeks with Joe Flacco, and then saying that Joe Flacco is going to be your starter for the rest of the season, and then the next week saying Anthony Richardson is back at starter. There's not really continuity there, but I still think Shane Steichen deserves another year because last year you couldn't really base it on how successful because he didn't have Anthony Richardson. But I think that the Broncos are definitely the better built team because of Sean Payton and Bo Nix. So I'm going to take the Broncos to win and cover.
Okay. Anthony.
Yeah, very important game for the playoff picture. The Broncos got the last seed in the playoffs right now. Colts are the first team out. So this is a huge matchup for the playoff picture. I know Anthony Richardson has played better since he came back into the lineup, but Broncos have one of the best defenses in football. And I think at the end of the season, Bo Nix is going to be the offensive rookie of the year. They're going to win this game, and they're going to put a huge lead on that last wild card spot. So give me the Broncos to win and cover.
Nick D.
Broncos win, no cover.
Okay. Nick Morganson.
Yeah, Broncos cover here. I just think they're playing good football. I eat my words on Bo Nix. I'll just say that, number one. And the Colts, like Grant said, it's very unpredictable what's going on there. So Broncos cover.
Zan.
I like Denver. I think just simply because of the altitude, and I'm sure it'll probably end up being that the weather's going to be pretty brutal. I think this is a ground and pound win for the Broncos. I think Bo Nix does just enough to manage the game, and I think the Colts will have a silly turnover at the end. As they try to come back to potentially force overtime, they won't be able to do so. So give me the Broncos by at least a touchdown, maybe 10 points. Definitely Denver to cover for sure at home, and like Anthony said, give themselves a nice cushion on the AFC wildcard lead. So give me Denver.
I'll keep it simple. Some of the points you mentioned into a math equation. Broncos defense plus Bo Nix potentially rookie of the year plus unpredictable Colts team equals Broncos take the money.
I thought there was no math involved in this show.
I go by the numbers here, damn it. Anthony, Cardinals at home, 6-point favorite against the Pats.
Yeah, the Cardinals haven't looked too good over the last few weeks, and I know Drake May has his moments and has looked pretty well as a quarterback, and you can definitely see the potential with him. So for some reason, this is screaming at me, Cardinals no cover.
Wow. Nick D.
I like the Cardinals to win and cover.
Nick Morganson.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Anthony a little bit on some points. Like, the Cardinals have been scaring me after I tried to jump on that wagon after they were playing really well, and they've kind of come back down to earth a little bit. So I'm kind of on the fence. But the Patriots are they're in full rebuild mode and just not a good team. I think they'll sneeze and cover a touchdown spread, I would hope. So give me the Cardinals to cover.
Zan.
I like the Cardinals too. It was actually debating making this my lock, but then I remembered that it's Arizona, and sometimes it's down to their competition. But like Nick said, as long as Arizona can at least step on the football field, he should be able to. They should be able to not only win the game but cover the spread. So give me the Cardinals.
The Cardinals give me some scares. The Pats have shown some signs of life sometimes, but yeah, I'm gonna say Cardinals take the money on this one. And Grant,
There's no need to really explain this. Cardinals win and cover. It's just the Patriots just don't have enough to beat the Cardinals.
okay, going over now to the prime time Sunday Night Football. The Packers on the road, a 2.5-point favorite in Seattle. Interesting 9-4, 8-5 matchup as it goes to the NFC playoff race. The Green Bay Packers can clinch a win. Can clinch a playoff berth, but they're going to need some interesting circumstances. They need to win. Atlanta needs to lose. And the 49ers-Rams game needed to end in a tie. Oh, so okay, that eliminates that playoff berth scenario. I don't know why they include ties in these playoff berth scenarios.
They shouldn't.
They honestly shouldn't.
Well, they could happen though.
On a blue moon, I guess. Nick D, start us off.
Oh, I love the Packers -2.5. I think Seattle. I will give Seattle some credit. They've been playing decently well, but I think the Packers right now are. They're definitely a wild card team for sure, and I really just like the way the Packers have looked lately. They just blew out the Dolphins on Thanksgiving, and they almost beat the Lions. I think that the Packers are one of the hottest teams in the league right now. And Seattle, I don't even think they're going to win the division. I think the Rams are going to come back and beat them.
Probably. It's probably right.
Nick Morrison.
Yeah, I like the Packers here too. I just think, like Nick D said, I think they're the hotter team. And Seattle kind of reminds me of Jekyll and Hyde. Like, you don't know which team you're going to get every single week.
You get the team that beat the Cardinals twice or the team that lost to the Giants.
Right. So you have no idea which team you're going to get. And it's Geno Smith. So Nick D and I know that horror story for years. Jordan Love, Geno Smith. Jordan Love, Geno Smith. Jordan Love. Take them out.
Surprised you went that route. Not picking Jordan Love. Yeah. Zan.
Yeah, I like Green Bay too. I just think their offense has looked great over the last several weeks, and they seem to really be riding momentum. And again, you don't know what Seattle team you're going to get. So give me Green Bay to win and cover on the road. A rare road cover in one of the most in one of the toughest environments in football. But now some teams have been able to go into Seattle and win and win despite it being ugly at times. I don't think Green Bay is going to have any trouble with that, and I don't think overtime will be needed. So give me the Packers to win and cover on Sunday.
I have believed in this Seahawks team since the beginning. I advocated that they were probably going to get at minimum a wild card spot, and right now they're the ones in control of the division. And good on them. That being said, the Packers are the better team. That being said, the Packers do have better momentum. That being said, as you mentioned, teams have gone into Seattle, which was notoriously a tough place to play, and have come out with victories. So give me Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers to get one step closer to officially clinching a playoff spot. Take the money on the road. Grant.
Yeah, I think this is a really even matchup. I'm gonna take the Packers to win and cover, but I have to say I have to give Mike. Is it Nick Daniel or did I do that right?
Oh, the Seattle head coach. You mean, right?
Yes.
I'm looking it up because I don't remember. Mike McDonald.
I always switched them. He started out kind of slow, but then he picked it up. He's doing a really good job. But I'm going to take the Packers to win cover. But I got to give my applause to the Seattle head coach. That's what I'm going to call him from now on because I know I'm going to mess it up.
Anthony.
I know the Seahawks are on a nice little win streak, but a lot of it had to do with luck and teams, just collapsing. I mean, the Jets kind of gave that game away. And the reason why they're first place in the division is because two teams have completely, fell off. The Cardinals have started to struggle a little bit, and now the 49ers are struggling. I think right now the Rams are the best team in the NFC West. I think if they were to play right now, I think the Rams are the better team. So I do know the Seattle Seahawks have played good football, but I think a lot of it has to come down to luck. And I think that luck ends right here. The Packers have been playing great football, one of the hottest teams in the league. Jordan Love has been unbelievable. Josh Jacobs, you talk about MVP candidates, you can certainly talk about Josh Jacobs. I mean, he's been unbelievable, getting touchdowns every single game. They have a great wide receiving core. I know the Packers are a little banged up in the secondary, but they still got some great players back there with Xavier McKinney. So I think the Packers win and cover as well.
All right, now it's time for the first of two Monday Night Football games. Yes, we get a doubleheader for Monday Night Football. One more
Oh,
time.
goody.
Yeah, joy. We got divisional rivalry here. NFC North, the Bears and the Vikings in Minnesota. The Vikings a 6.5-point favorite. The Vikings could have clinched a playoff spot if the Rams had lost on Thursday Night Football. That did not happen. But if the Seahawks lose on Sunday Night Football or the Vikings win this game here, the Vikings are officially in the playoffs. Zan, Mr. Bears fan number one, we will start with you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be another heartbreaking loss for the Bears. The first game between these two teams was super exhilarating. Obviously, the Bears are a totally different team than what they were a little over a month ago, just with morale and everything. I'm really not liking the direction that the Bears are going. I think at this point in the year, they have to they'll probably end up just having to lose out to get a better draft pick to figure out who their next head coach is going to be. So give me Minnesota by whatever they want. It's a Monday night game in the Dome. Yeah, I don't see how Minnesota loses this one, but again, it's the NFL. You never know. Upsets can happen, but Minnesota has owned the Bears as of late, and I think they will continue to do so. So give me the Vikings.
Bears fan number two, Grant.
Yeah, everything that Zan said, I agree with. But let me take it one step further. I'm not. I mean, I already made my lock of the week, but I have a question for you guys. There were reports about I don't know how to say this, but the confidence level in Ryan Poles
as the GM.
as the GM. So if the Bears lose out, and there also seems to be a lot of tension between Poles and Warren. And Warren stated a couple last week that Ryan Poles will be the GM and the point man for the next.
I know where you're going with this, Grant, and I'm going to say I can't believe that they have said that Poles is still going to be the general manager. But
my question is, do you think if he loses out, if we lose out,
they change their mind?
Yes,
I think they'd have to.
I don't think they have a choice.
What's your take on that, Zan? I'm sorry, but you're the other Bears.
No, it's okay. I could see it, but another thing I wanted to make mention of too, whatever decision the Bears make, one side of Chicago is going to be happy and the other side of Chicago is going to be livid. So I think no matter what the Bears do, people are going to be upset. So
I can agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your pick, Grant?
Vikings win and cover. I'm sorry.
Okay. I guess as the Vikings fan, as the Vikings supporter here, I'll go next. Yeah, Vikings win and cover. Normally, I'm a little skeptical when it comes to, the Vikings have been a little shaky sometimes in recent weeks. I would hope that they would be able to handle a Bears team the way that their state that they're in. Anthony.
Yeah, I like the Vikings as well to win and cover. Sam Darnold has went back to his MVP form. He started off the season hot, kind of had his struggles midway through, and he's finally proven those doubters wrong that he can't just start a season off hot. He can probably finish the season hot. He's certainly doing that over the last few weeks. I still like the Vikings defense as well. They could definitely force turnovers and give your quarterback troubles. So give me the Vikings to win and cover.
And Nick D?
Yeah, I like the Vikings to win and cover. The Bears are the worst road team so far in the league. They still haven't. The Bears still haven't won a game on the road, and I think the Vikings are very overlooked in a sense. I think Darnold's been playing great. So yeah, it's only 6. It's only one score. So give me the Vikings to win and cover.
And Nick Morganson.
Yeah, I'm on the Vikings to cover. I said it after they got completely demolished by the Niners. I'm never picking the Bears for the rest of the season, and I'm standing on that because they completely embarrassed my pick after a flailing Niners team. Vikings cover.
All right. And now, Nick Morganson, you can start. You ended the first Monday night game. You can start the second one. Oh, what a crap show this is going to be. The Falcons at the Raiders. The Falcons, a 4.5-point favorites.
So I have a great reference of comparison for this game. Okay. And Nick D, you'll like this one too. I compare this to the Big Blue Avenue podcast. Okay.
What?
It's a game. It's a crappy game with two crappy leaders who don't know what they're doing in a show or a game. And when they finally get to the end, maybe they've accomplished something in a game. And then
Wow.
hopefully if they get finished on a certain period of time, they might have actually won by luck. So that's how I look at this game. So
your pick is what?
my pick is the Falcons, but it's going to be by dumb luck, which is that podcast. Take the money.
Wow. Okay, Zan.
Yeah, I don't really know how much more I could top that, but let me just say this: the Raiders are a dysfunctional mess. You think they figured it out one week, and then you get your hopes up and they don't. Atlanta knows that they shouldn't be looking past any team in the NFL, but most certainly they better be going into Vegas thinking that they should be able to pound this team. So give me Atlanta and it's 4.5 by whatever they want. And even if Kirk Cousins plays bad, the Falcons should still be able to win this game. So give me Atlanta to win on the road and for them to focus on bigger and better things as the month of December only gets tougher from here. So give me the Falcons on Monday night.
I don't care how crappy Kirk Cousins has been playing. I don't care that this is a primetime game and that's his weakness. The Raiders this is a crap show game, and the Raiders are a crap show team that are in the fight for the number 1 overall pick. The Falcons cannot lose this game. Give me the Falcons to win and cover. Grant.
Yeah, I mean, let me just come out and say this. Both of these Monday Night Football games do not deserve to be on Monday Night Football.
It should have been Bills Lions.
I mean, I completely agree, Nick. But I mean, the Falcons will win and cover this. I mean, it's diabolical that this is a Monday Night Football game.
They should have just flexed Bills Lions to Sunday night, and then flexed the Packers Seahawks to Monday night, and put one of these two games, probably Falcons Raiders, in the afternoon window.
I told you should go watch a certain podcast. You'll be better off and more entertained that way.
Grant, what's your pick?
Falcons win and cover. Sorry, I guess you didn't hear.
Anthony.
Yeah, what the hell has happened to Kirk Cousins? I mean, he started the season off slow, then it looked like he was starting to figure things out, and now he's at a complete collapse, playing probably the worst football of his career. He's honestly, over the last few weeks, the way he's been turning over the ball, been one of the worst quarterbacks in football. And I know we talked ad nauseum about 1 p.m., 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins, but I don't care if he's playing at 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 5 a.m. in the morning. He's been playing like crap the whole So, but the Raiders
should honestly be delegated to 5 in the morning. That's how bad it is.
But
Wow.
as bad as Kirk Cousins has been, like you said, the Raiders as a team have been equally, if not more, as bad. And they're just trying to get a good draft pick and hope they can get a good quarterback to turn their franchise around. So give me the Falcons to win and cover, but it's not going to be a good one.
Nick D.
I like the Falcons to win, but no cover. The Falcons just lost 4 games in a row. They've been terrible lately. I don't trust them to cover 4.5 points on the road against anybody. And the Raiders, they can give them a game. Like they can do that, I think. They came close to – I mean, they gave the Broncos a game. They gave the Chiefs a game. So I'm not writing the Raiders off completely. I think the Falcons win, but I think they look bad. Not to mention it's prime time. It's prime time Kirk Cousins.
I knew someone was going to say it.
He's been terrible. The Falcons should move on to Michael Penix.
They probably should.
But
Could you
you probably
imagine
won't get
saying
much,
that at the
much
start
of
of this year?
a increase in production. That's the problem.
Well, the end. Well, of course, I have to put an exclamation point on everything that I say here. Follow us on social media at the football TFB Forecast ETB if you want to hear my wild and accentuated opinions, including that last one you just heard. I'm sure that'll be on social media. Check that out. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm sure they're going to be happy that I said that.
And let's see how much longer TikTok goes, because apparently the courts are not.
Dude, we've been hearing that forever about TikTok.
Well,
No, but
there's been a development during our recording. Apparently, until the Supreme Court hears it, the courts are not going to stop the ban.
Oh, that's great. That's
Dude,
good.
you're still going to be able to get like a VPN code or something. You'll be able to use it.
Just continue to unleash
This whole thing
all
is
of
nonsense. This whole
you-
thing about TikTok is complete nonsense.
It pretty much is.
No, what I'm saying is you're letting loose all of Zan's secrets for
Don't
MMA outsiders.
Don't unleash my secrets.
First of all, I will be pissed because TikTok, we get the most comments and we get the most viewership on our videos on TikTok.
Yeah, we all do.
You're not saying anything wrong.
On the Forever Power 5, every other video, there's a bunch of comments criticizing how I pronounce Oregon.
I do read those too. But anyway,
It's
Anyway.
hilarious.
let me finish the show so we can get done with it. So,
Go Tigers.
yes, follow us on social media at TFB Forecast ETB. Like I said, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can hear all our dumb and crazy opinions that come up on this show. Also, Monday Night Football, Lone Wolf of the Week, Lock of the Week. Damn, Tom, I'm going to be in a lot of these videos this week. But yeah, so check all that out. YouTube.com/ETB Network to find this show and all the shows and all the content everybody is involved with. So please like and subscribe. Hit that button that turns rainbow every time you say like and subscribe.
subscribe.
Exactly. Also, if you can't listen on the video side, listen on the audio side, wherever you get your podcasts.
And
This is-
YouTube Premium, don't forget.
Yes, YouTube Premium. This one's a doozy. Like, even if you can't watch it on video, listen to it on a jog or something. You'll definitely be confused as you're running on like a 5 or 10 mile jog. But that'll do it for. And actually, the football forecast also presented.
Playback, damn it.
Yes, I forgot about play. All right, Jerry Jones, give me a second.
Damn it, Mr. Morganson.
The football forecast and the network presented by Playback as well. We are doing some more Playback streams. Playback.tv/ETB Network. So please check us out. We are doing some NBA streams. We have more of that planned as well. Okay, that'll do it for week 15. Go enjoy the football games.
Actually, something to note.
Yeah.
No, the next couple of weeks we are gonna have to move some things around, because starting next week, we got Saturday NFL football.
Yeah, so I think this is probably going to premiere on Friday, actually, next week.
It would either be Thursday or Friday, to be determined.
So we'll let you know when we figure that out. But until then, enjoy the football as we look forward into the end of the NFL season for week 16, 17, and 18, and into the playoffs and eventually the Super Bowl. We are heading to the playoffs are not too far away. So for everybody here at the Football Forecast, have a good week, everybody, and we will see you next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one.